Well, hello there, everybody. How are y'all doing? I hope everybody has had a super great Saturday. We had a football game this morning, and then that was it. It's the slowest Saturday we've had in a while. But little man got to play football. It was fun. It was a good game. But anyways, I cleaned out my car today. Washed my car. So I had a productive day. I hope everybody is well. Thank you for being here, Millie, Miss Janice, Miss Rhonda. Thank you for being here. Um, hey, Miss Kathy, how are you? I hope you're good. I hope you're feeling better. But anyways, we are going to talk about court. And we're going to listen to a couple of clips and see if y'all can figure out just exactly how Seth feels. I think it will be very apparent, but we're going to listen to that and talk about it a little bit. We're not going to be on as long tonight as what we have been the last couple of times. My granddaughter made me promise I would get off so that she can read me a bedtime story tonight before she goes to bed. So I promised her I would. So, anyways, well, I thought we might have a few more come in. I know Justin went live just a while ago. He makes it hard for a little channel to do anything because he goes live a couple times a day, several times sometimes. I was watching earlier today, Silver on the Scene, and he was out searching just a couple of miles away from Sebastian's house. And, you know, he was walking and he saw something and he was like, let me go check this out. I don't know if y'all saw it, but yes, Miss Rhonda, grandkids, they're my life. I love it. But Silver saw something that caught his eye and he went to it. And he said, yes, he did fall. He did fall. That was this pretty steep terrain he was on, too. But it was bones that he found. And it was rib bones, you could tell. Even though in my mind I knew it was an animal because of the bones were small. But what if it wouldn't have been? What if it would have been human bones and it turns out that was Sebastian? That just went across me today so hard. I just was like, oh my gosh. I know everybody's out searching for him, but there is that possibility. And it just hurts my heart to even think of that. And the people that go and search on foot, they run that risk of being the one to walk up on them. And it may not even be him. It could possibly be someone else, but it's all the same. That's something that they're willing to take that chance on. And, kudos to every single person that is willing to go out and search. Because that would be rough finding something like that. But anyways, we've probably all of us have been in other chats and heard other opinions and stuff. And yes, it does. I honestly think it's Dearbone, but he was going to have somebody come and check it out just to verify it. But y'all, when he found them and he showed them, and I'm just like, oh, it just kind of hit real deep in my gut. Hey, Casey, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. You're at the LSU game? Oh my gosh, I got it on the TV. Go LSU. Woo woo. Have fun, Casey. We love you. That's cool. But yeah, that's it. We take for granted that they're out there looking and searching. They're walking around the woods. But that one little part today just made my gut just rich. I was just like, man, wow. Yeah. But anyways, so if you're ever anywhere where somebody is actually, searching, then make sure you tell them thank you, because what they're doing, they're taking a big chance. Hey, Kimmy K. Oh, I think we might get to see our Kimmy K pretty soon. I'm so excited. She was so little last time we saw her. So she was little baby. At that fun age where they're starting to smile and their whole body just wiggles. But we get to, thank goodness for Facebook too. Golly, you keep up with everybody and you get to see them all. And, the picture she posts of our little Kimmy K, she's our only baby we got. And the next one up, I think he's 5. So she's our only baby now. And it's fun to watch them grow. But anyways, let's see. I got to get this over here. Anyways, okay. I'm going to play. It's one of it is a news interview, and then the other one is with Vinny on Court TV. So, who you? Yes, Kimmy. It's in the name. So cute. But hey, Cheryl, thanks for coming in. We're going to have a little small group tonight, but we'll have a good time anyways. And we're going to talk about some good stuff. So, everybody has been talking about the court. It's very frustrating because if it works out to where they won't let her talk about Sebastian at all, then that sets a precedence for all the rest of us out here. Hey, November Rain, thanks for being here. But to set a precedence like that, that's kind of rough because it takes away our rights. And, we talked about it the other day right after it happened. And, I told y'all if there was a ruling that was just a little different, if they Am I stalking people? No. Why? Am I? Are you stalking me, my friend? Oh. Anyways, don't be saying that. You can't say that. You got me all jumpy, because there are those people out there. But oh, and poor Brittany J the other night, my golly, she was having trouble all night with her computer. One time it just shut down. Took her a while to get it back up. She got a new microphone, so she's trying to get everything just situated and worked out. She'd get quiet and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm messing with my computer," or "I was messing with my mic," Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the clip channels flipped her and said she fell asleep. Her computer just shut down and she couldn't get it back up. There was major issues going on that night. So her live just kept going. Nana in reality told everybody, good night and everything. She finally got it up, took the channel, took it, closed it out, and then she put it on private because it was just wasn't a whole lot to it, and there was a lot of stress in her voice. You could just tell because everything wasn't working out right. Well, the clip channels now have her on substances. She's addicted, and then blamed everybody in her chat and on her panel for not suggesting she got help. I would listen to it for a while. I was like, oh my God, these people are insane, crazy. So, but yes, freedom of speech, restraining orders. Okay. This is something that Mr. E said, and I was like, holy balls. Oh my gosh. Boom. Because Chris had to go talk to a judge or do it on a Zoom or somehow that way before he got his daughter for the summer. Mom was saying, look, a child's missing from their house. I'm scared. He told the judge there was nothing to be scared of. They weren't worried. There's been no issues, all this, that, and the other. He was not worried. Well, the timing is kind of coincidental because Betty was there. Betty was doing all the things. And in court the other day, Mr. Chris said he is terrified of Betty because she was going to come packing. Well, no, that's not what she said. She said the officer told her she may want to get, something for protection. And she said the open carry, her license carries over to Tennessee. And that's what the officer was telling her. And, hey, when I go to Tennessee, I'll be packing. But that's because I'm not taking a road trip without any type of protection. And she had a machete in her trunk. And she talked about it. Because anywhere she was going to go, there were some weeds. She can whack them down. Neither one of those were to threaten Chris. But he pretty much perjured himself to tell one judge, no, there was nothing going on. He wasn't scared, nothing like that. And then to turn around and he's scared of Betty. So like, I sure hope Nina has a copy of that. But it is comical. He's not afraid. My goodness, no. Wait till y'all hear what. Have y'all all heard? You probably all have, but have y'all all heard Seth and Tony's interview? Because that's what we're going to go over tonight. Listen to it. But they held nothing back. And I do not blame them one bit at all, because that was ridiculous. They spent more money on a court case than they have finding their son. It's just not cool. Okay, Rhonda. Well, good. At least Rhonda's not going to just be bored listening. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get busy and we'll start listening, okay? The first one is just going to be a news interview. You will hear some music in the background. I went ahead and put that there. Oh, Miss Kathy hadn't heard it either. Okie dokie. But, and then it will go into the one with Vinny Palatino, or I can never say that guy's last name right. But I just put them all on one little video thing. So just let me get this up there just so I cover my butt. Y'all, I hate this computer. Okay. What we're about to listen to, the news interview and the court TV. My air just shut off. It got real quiet. Anyways, it's all fair use under the Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107. Okay, so let me go over here. We will cover myself pretty good. And we will run a banner. Alrighty. And let me present this, get this going. And here we go. Oh, what happened? Hang on, guys. I got to make it bigger. I couldn't get it to transfer. It wouldn't.
Father of a missing boy just won a legal battle against a YouTuber who's covering the case. It all started when 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared back on February 26th. A month later, true crime social media influencer Bullhorn Betty began posting videos about the case. In July, Sebastian's mother filed an order of protection against her. The following month, Betty, whose real name is Andra Griffin, was arrested for violating that order. All of that brings us to today. This is Caitlin Quisenberry has more on what was discussed in court and the judge's final ruling on a protection of order for Christopher Proudfoot. Caitlin.
The last time these two parties were in court was in September for 3 different order of protections against the YouTuber Andrew Griffin. And today, the judge added Sebastian's stepfather to the growing list of people worried for their safety. The nearly 4-hour hearing started with the reminder of First Amendment rights. Griffin said multiple times on the stand that she never directly contacted Christopher, nor had ever met him. She did, however, state that she would visit his neighborhood to allegedly get a better understanding of the layout and put up flyers of missing Sebastian Rogers. And at one point, she also admitted to going to Christopher's place of work. Christopher also sat on the stand and claimed he felt unsafe with Griffin broadcasting his personal life and private life. The defense aired a 9-minute video showing clips from Griffin's YouTube channel, where she insinuates Christopher knows how to hide a body and may have had something to do with Sebastian's disappearance. To be clear, law enforcement has not said there is any proof of foul play in the case. Seth Rogers, the biological father of Sebastian and an advocate for Griffin, says the judge's decision to rule in favor of the protection order hinders the search for his son.
What I heard today is that you're not allowed to have free speech. You're not allowed to sit there and ask questions, you know, as somebody would say, the hard questions, and get an answer. Those are 4 scared cowards, in my opinion. And if they're going to try to take away one of my voices, they're going to have to get ready for my voice.
I spoke with Christopher after the hearing ended. He did not want to go on camera, but did say that he hopes the focus remains on the search for Sebastian Rogers. And Griffin will be back in court on November 20th for 6 counts of a violation of protection orders. In Gallatin, Caitlin Quisenberry, News.
Seth Rogers is with us, and the Rogers family spokesperson, Tony Mathis, as well. Thank you both for coming here. What's your reaction, Seth and Tony, to what happened today or yesterday in court with Bullhorn Betty? And what are your thoughts about Bullhorn Betty and what she's been doing?
Well, Vinny, first off, thank you for having us tonight. Let me be crystal clear about something. That entire family lied under oath to get those protective orders. This family has spent more time trying to silence people than they've spent looking for Sebastian. We know for a fact that there's no proof that Sebastian walked out of that home. And it makes you wonder what else they're lying about, Vinny. It also makes you wonder what would happen if Sebastian would have been able to file a protective order against his stepfather.
Seth, your reaction to what happened and what is happening in all of this.
Sorry, guys.
Professional opinion, I would say something along the lines of Chris and Katie did something to my son. They're using Sumner County to cover it up and to hide themselves from the actual law.
And let me ask you, Seth, and we have no independent information. We know that police are saying there's no suspect. No one's been named as a suspect in any of this. But this seems to be, at least from my perspective, Seth, is it a change in the way you are seeing what has transpired through all this? Are you seeing things differently than you did before?
It's the evidence. I still believe my son is alive. I still believe he's somewhere. But the fact is that he was at their house last. There is no evidence that he ever left the house. And they, as Tony has stated, they have spent more money and time trying to get people to not speak about Sebastian than speaking about Sebastian. Sumner County hasn't come out since April with anything, and Katie won't come out and speak, won't ask for help to find Sebastian. I really have to say that she never loved her son. And on top of that, I have the DCS reports that I've written that I have literally took me an attorney to get them. Sebastian deserves a restraining order from those two psychopaths.
Tony, now you've accused them of lying, the Proudfoots, right? So what were they lying? What were they lying about from your perspective? And again, we have no independent information or confirmation that they said anything that was untrue or verification that what they said was true, like either way. But what were they lying about from your perspective, and what's the evidence from your perspective that they are not telling the truth?
Well, they actually were lying, and it was proven in court that they were lying about what they stated in the protective orders. which was that she had had physical contact with them, that she was following, stalking, and harassing them. And even on the stand, Mr. Proudfoot admitted that he had never met her in person. So in my opinion, it's a little difficult to be stalking somebody that you've never met in person. And it goes to the many inconsistencies that have been told by Mr. Proudfoot since the very first interview. Not one of his interviews have matched up, Vinny.
And when you say the interviews haven't matched up, you're not talking about, so I just want to make this clear to everyone watching. You're talking about the disappearance of Sebastian, not about Bullhorn Betty in this case.
Yeah, the Bullhorn Betty lies were just another long string in the lies that they've told since the beginning. If you go back and break the interviews down from the very first interview they did all the way from Nancy Grace and beyond before they quit coming out in public, you can see one inconsistency after the next. And the great thing about telling the truth, Benny, is when you're doing that, it's always the same. It doesn't change.
So what's the most material inconsistency that you believe has been stated from Chris and or Katie?
Regarding Sebastian?
Absolutely. That's what I care about at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Many inconsistencies told about the phone calls, the time of the phone calls, the bedtimes, what happened after he went to bed. Just, you know, that entire 10 to 12 hour period, many inconsistencies. Also, not rock solid alibis and a lot of time that's unaccounted for. They were also, probably the biggest thing, Benny, is that they told Nancy Grace that they were told by TBI not to take a polygraph, and we found out later from TBI that that is 1,000% not accurate.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Okay, Tony Mathis, Seth Rogers is going to stay with us. We've got more to talk about. We're going to take you inside the courtroom so you can hear some of the testimony from today, and you'll see Chris Proudfoot on the witness stand. Just want to make it clear, like the First Amendment versus prior restraint of speech is serious business. And the judge made a decision today keeping her away from them. But how far did it go towards what she can say about this case? We'll be back.
Other people contacted you based off of Ms. Griffin's conduct on her social media accounts?
Hundreds.
Okay. How often does that happen?
Daily.
Is it possible for you to avoid the media circus that surrounds Ms. Griffin's conduct?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Have people gotten your personal phone number that way?
Yes, sir.
Have they gotten your email?
Yes, sir.
They message you on Facebook?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's Chris Proudfoot. Bullhorn Betty goes online, provides information, and apparently her viewers or followers are sending messages and attempting to contact Chris Proudfoot. So the judge's decision has prevented Bullhorn Betty from contacting the Proudfoots. But what I heard in the decision was, it sounds like she can still talk about them. She just cannot contact them through social media, cannot contact them through text or email or any other way. He's got to stay away from them. I understand that decision. Whether you agree or disagree, you know, it's up for debate, but that's the judge's decision. But it seems that she can still talk about them. Now, Chris Proudfoot was asked another important question when it comes to a restraining order, right? To prevent someone from going somewhere or contacting someone, there's got to be a reason. He's asked, why are you afraid of Bullhorn Betty? Take a listen.
What are you afraid of from Andrew Griffin?
What am I directly afraid of, sir? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, when you make a video threatening that you want to bring a gun from another state to this state, directly in videos related to me, my wife, my family, that's a threat, plain and simple.
Okay.
She also said she was going to bring a machete for the record.
Okay, let's bring back in Seth Rogers, Sebastian's dad, and Tony Mathis. Just a quick clarification. Everyone's watching that. Was she threatening to bring a machete to go after the Proudfoots?
Well, Benny, you being one of the better investigative reporters in this case, you know that if you take a 4 or 5 second clip out of an hour-long video, you can twist that and turn that into anything you want it to be. When she was talking about the things that she was going to need to be walking through these heavily wooded areas, one of the things that she mentioned she would probably need is a machete. But you don't get to see all that because that doesn't fit the narrative. Does that make sense?
On top of that, if she had stated that she was going to bring a machete, don't you think the felon that made the video for the Proudfoots would have actually clipped that in there? And it wasn't clipped in there. And if you notice, the attorney, that shyster that was sitting there representing the Proudfoots and the Bowersox, when they asked Chris the question, have you been contacted? They never asked who contacted them, because nobody that is on Betty's team or my team is actually reaching out to speak to these pathetic excuses for parents.
Vinny, if you actually listen to what was said there in court, the attorney asked the question, have you been contacted by people regarding things that Betty has been saying?
Right.
The people that are contacting Chris are his people. They're
Oh, Lord, hang
not
on.
Betty's people. They're contacting Chris saying, this is what Betty said today. This is what she said yesterday. Well, all you've got to do is tell those people, if you don't want to hear it, to quit contacting you. That shouldn't make you afraid of a 5-foot female as a man that has a strong history of being able to deal with females.
So let's refocus now and get back to what this is really about, which is finding your son, Seth. So what? Sebastian, I'm sorry. Yeah, to find Sebastian. Your relationship with Sebastian's mom seems at this point is completely non-existent. I know early on there was talk about trying to work together, and it seemed like you were trying to come together to do something, but that just doesn't exist. Right. So what is the status of the search for Sebastian? As you sit here tonight, what is going on? Who is doing what, whether it's law enforcement, any private organizations, members of the public, whoever? What is the status of all of that?
We have we have over 50 people that are working on this case. Just in investigators, FBI. I mean, been working with the FBI. That's how we got a reward out there. Sumner County, the people that are in charge of Sumner County refuse to connect the dots. So we have to go beyond Sumner County. My son is somewhere, and me personally, I believe Katie knows.
Vinny, you can tell that we're a little bit more uptight tonight than we usually are. But we've watched the antics. We've watched Chris smile and laugh and joke in court when we've got a broken father and Seth that's missing his son. You guys sent a very, very professional, independent camera and photographer to cover this court case, a girl by the name of Athena. We found out after the court case was over that Chris looked at her and winked at her in the middle of the trial. We've got a real problem with that when there's a missing child.
He's supposed to be married.
Yeah.
Val's not doing anything anymore.
So let's talk about this now. There's going to be a lot of people watching right now and say, listen, I want to do something. I want to help. What can they do?
A lot of things, Vinny. They can pray. They can continue to spread awareness. They can put flyers up. They can talk about him in a positive way, regardless of which side of the family they support. Because remember, this is about Sebastian. It's not about Seth. It's not about Tony. It's not about Chris and Katie or any of the crazy grandparents. It's not about any of that. This is about Sebastian. And if you are here for Sebastian, your focus should be Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. That's it. nothing else.
Absolutely.
He's the one missing. Unfortunately, the judge wanted to sit there and offer his condolences for our loss. My son is missing. I understand that that judge's child passed away, and that made him emotional in this case. Judgment from the judge should have been blind to begin with. He was emotional, and I'm pretty sure my son is lost. He is alive. He is missing. All right, that judge buried their child.
Seth Rogers,
Sebastian is alive.
we're out of time for tonight, but I appreciate it, and we'll stay in contact. Seth Rogers, Tony Mathis.
Well, so what the heck I'm doing? I'm back. Man. So, first off, standing ovation for Seth. Way to go. Way to put it out there. Gloves are off. This is how it's going to be. We're going to talk the truth. I know he's been kind of walking on pins and needles, trying to be very careful, very cautious. We heard him in the interview where Seth was like totally attacking and, you know, berating Seth, treating him like he's 7-year-old little boy. And Seth remained calm. But I think it's time for Seth to really say everything he wants to say. And I was so proud of him. And extra kudos go to Tony Mathis, because Tony handled that like a pro. I know a lot of people haven't cared for him a lot, but you couldn't fault him on this one. He handled everything perfect. Hey, Mimeo6, how you doing? But yeah, I was very proud of Seth. It's been a long time coming. He has that right to say what he feels. Just like we have that right. There's more evidence pointing to the parents, the mother and the stepfather. More evidence pointing to them being involved in Sebastian's disappearance than there is to support them not being involved. I'm telling you, Seth has been amazing as far as not losing his cool. Because, guys, I'm going to tell you, that sheer panic that you have to live with, you don't have your child with you, even though, like I say, and I keep saying it, even though I knew where my child was, I still had this panic inside of me. How am I going to live without him? What am I supposed to do? I had 3 kids. You know, I mean, he was the one that was still at home. What am I supposed to do? It was sheer panic, guys. Sheer panic. And I could imagine not knowing. That panic has got to be intensified. And for him to have kept his calm and his cool as long as he has. Kudos to Seth completely. I believes Seth is innocent. It has been proven where he was at. He took a polygraph test. He voluntarily took one for Nancy Grace, and he passed. Where the other two, especially Mr. Chris, had to make up excuses. So, yes, that's it. You know, I mean, he doesn't, all he wants is his child's name out there to share his flyer. He just wants his son home. We have seen the man cry. We have seen him beg you, put his flyer out there, keep talking about him. You know, we're into 7 months. It could start going cold at any time now. And a lot of people could move on to something else. And he's begging for that to not happen. He is the only parent speaking for Sebastian. Does Seth have a perfect life? I don't know. Do the Proudfoots have a perfect life? I don't know. What they're saying leads you to believe that there is a lot of animosity there because of Sebastian and his disability that he's got. And, you know, I wouldn't even call it a disability, I guess. It's who he is. But it's not the type of child that needs Mr. Chris's type of discipline. And he needs a mother who won't allow that to happen to him. And I don't think he had that, because she made up excuses for him using the belt on him because he forgot his belt. And then later said he lied about it. Well, no, your words, Mr. Chris. You ask him, where's your belt? He told you, in his room. You told him, go get it. He went and got it. You took it from him and you whacked him. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But Seth is the only one begging for people to find Sebastian. But his mother and his stepfather are the ones shutting people down. Oh, yes. Yeah, he was yelling. Exactly. Hi, Christine. Thanks for coming in with us. As far as dog, okay, this is hearsay. Okay, it's just what I've heard. So I cannot say it's 100% legit. I've heard that Nick is in jail, maybe, but that was never confirmed. And I have heard they have gotten a lot of tips, and they are working on it. And one other thing I had just recently heard is they are working close with the FBI. So if that's the case, that's a good thing. Yeah, it is weird. But his daughter, baby Lisa, has created a nonprofit thing for missing children. And it's some kind of organization thing that they help missing kids and help find them and help do whatever for the parents, that's needed. So Dog has been involved with that. And when I heard that part, that kind of started making some sense to me. I was like, okay, now this makes some sense. Yes, let's pray that it is all happening. Things are moving and, we have to look at it this way, guys. And this comes from Jennifer Coffendorfer or Daffer or however you say her name. Retired FBI herself. And she knows that chain of command, the process has to go through for a reward. And as high of a reward, usually it's about 10,000 or 15,000. Sebastian's is 50,000. That's big. So they have something. If they didn't have anything, they would not have got that. Yes, that's what I've been hearing too. And I did see an article where he was in Arizona for a day. He had a school. He was going to talk to kids there at the school. And so he had to go to Arizona for that one day. So he does have a lot on his plate, but he has the connections. He has people working for him. So I'm just praying that they are working close with the FBI. When they get a tip, they run it by the FBI. If they've already gotten or received that same tip, they double check with each other to see, have you gone to look? Have you gone to search? Kind of thing. So they're supposed to be working together. So that's a good thing. But I was very impressed when I heard the interviews with Seth and with Tony. Very impressed. I know it's got to be a relief for Seth to be able to speak how he feels. He doesn't have to play nice anymore. They don't care about playing nice. So why should Seth? And at the end of the day, it's hard to dispute the fact that Katie was supposedly the only one at home with Sebastian when he went missing. And guys, we've heard way too many cases where, no, I do not believe it was a garbage truck. And I'll tell you why. Because you have what looks like 2 flashlights. So you got one over here, one over here. Okay. So you got your 2 flashlights and they're going together, fade out. You could tell kind of behind a bush or something. But one goes back over here. A garbage truck headlights, they don't split off. They stay straight. They stay together. They do not separate. One of those lights went back to the house. That is not a garbage truck. Nobody could ever try to convince me it is a garbage truck. No way. Yes, Holly, it was too early for the garbage trucks. Yeah. There is no way those lights are garbage trucks. Headlights are mounted in, they don't move, they shoot straight ahead. Wherever that truck goes, those things stay so far apart. Those two lights were getting really close together, and then they kind of back and forth. But when one goes back to the house and the other one stays over here and disappears into what looks to be a vehicle, no, that's not a garbage truck. So, yeah. Now, there was one video we saw, and those lights, I could see where they would be a garbage truck because they stayed together, they stayed consistent, and they left the screen together. But not these that we're looking at now. And these were leaked out. Yeah. That's what I say too. That truck would have lit up a whole lot more. And you don't go pick garbage up from the back of someone's house. And that's where we start seeing the flashlights. The back of the Proudfoot's property. And I think they probably analyzed that garbage truck video or the lights. I bet you $10 they have. And there's no way they can say it's a garbage truck. Because the lights don't separate. So, no, I'm not down for that at all. Not at all. But I don't know, guys. I don't know where this is going. I don't know. Right? Yeah, the headlights aren't running across the yard. Not at all. And you got to stop and think about it. Katie said he left, and the only thing she could find missing was a little flashlight. It was a keychain flashlight. And then we see two flashlights running across that open part back there. Huh? How convenient is that? And then when Seth walked in the door, he said he looked at Katie and said, all of his shoes are here. He left without shoes, and she just kind of looked and said, yeah. Seth also said that her and the Bauer Sox were talking about jewelry and vacations when Seth got there. Hey, stop. Thank you. So, yeah. I think she forgot to put shoes on. I think he was carried out. Therefore, no scent is found. He did not become a ninja. I do not think that child has fooled law enforcement and everyone. And yes, he is terrified of Betty. There ain't no way. Betty's got a big mouth. She'll shout it to the rooftops. But she's not violent. Not at all. Yes. I would be very surprised too. Because it was like in the 30s. It was cold out there. That concrete was cold. It was in February. There ain't nobody gonna, even the grass would have been cold. I just don't, and then you've got the stepdad who is sitting, no jacket. That's right. Nothing. Yeah. No. But you've got the stepdad who is talking about the scent dogs. And the scent they found that from the front door goes down into the side of their house, going to the right, along the fence, and back to that pond. Well, the dogs went back there, but they didn't follow a scent. And then we see the flashlight video. So it made sense to me why he was doing that. The dogs did not have a scent. They were not following a scent. They were just walking around. But the dogs went this way. Everything that was happening with the flashlights was going to the left of the back of their house. So Chris wants everything focused on that right side. Stay away from that left side. That's not the side. It's over here. It's those little things. You have to question why. Why, and why. And it's, the court thing was happening. They're all terrified of Betty. Including Minotti was on Justin's the other day talking, and she was telling Justin there is no easement. Tennessee does not have easements. They own every bit of their property. If there's a light pole on your property, you will have an easement. It's easy to look it up, Google it. And they're like, well, we don't live in the city. We live in the county. So the county does not have easements. Okay. The Bower Sox, they had a light pole in their yard. She didn't go on their property. That was an easement. But I will say this. She did a live last night. She talked about the judge. She talked about the Bower Sox. She talked about the Proudfoots. That is not going to help her. She needs to work behind the scenes and not out in the public. She needs to be the person that Seth turns to and say, hey, look, this and this and this and this. What are your thoughts? And they sit there and have that conversation. That's how she needs to be helping. Because if she's not careful, when she goes back in November, she could get in more trouble. She very well could. Now, personally, I think nothing should be done in Sumner County. Nothing at all. I do think there's a lot of bias going on. There's friendships, long-standing friendships. There's vacation buddies. There's all kinds of things like that happening. And just to make it fair, because I do not think there was enough to give a protection order granted. So that's my opinion. But if she's not careful, she will get herself in trouble. So I hope, for her sake, for all of our sakes, that she kind of backs off, settles down, and if she's going to do anything, do it behind the scenes, just don't be out there on YouTube. Don't be talking all of it. Yeah, TJ, they don't. Yeah. Talking about Clue. Yeah. I don't trust her. But I was very impressed by her fiance, as she calls him. He did say the judge was fair across the board as far as he stopped Betty when she was rambling on or whatever. He stopped her and had her just go straight to the answer. He did the same with Chris, though. Chris was told it's a yes or no question. All you have to do is say yes or no. And Chris, in Mr. Chris fashion, was trying to be crystal clear. And the judge stopped it. So that was good to hear. Yes, that was her and her fiance sitting next to them in the courtroom. Yes. You know, she talked, yeah. The thing with, guys, I'm just going to be, this is my opinion. I'm going to be straight up with you. This is how I feel about this. I feel like Seth has not done anything to hurt or harm Sebastian or to take him away. I do think Katie and Chris have something to do with it. And if they don't, they know. That's my feelings. Now, for Clue, she's just the opposite. She was tearing down Seth pretty hard there for a while till she got a cease and desist. And, you know, yeah, roots run deep in that town, don't they, James? Woo! Yeah. I did hear that Mama Socks vacations with a judge there. And that's how it was worded. So, anyways, but for Clue to say, I am giving you a non-biased opinion here. Everything I'm saying is not biased in any way. I don't think anybody on Chris and Katie's side, because there are sides. There is a line drawn. I don't think either side could be 100% non-bias. I just don't think it's possible at this point, because we don't have any good opinions of the other side. They don't have good opinions of our side. Even the chats, they're not sitting there praising the other side. You know, everybody's pretty much on their side. So no, I don't think that it was a non-biased opinion on how things went. And she was being upfront and honest. She might have been honest, but it might have been how she saw things, where we would see it differently. And that's where everybody's going to have a hard time with this, with Betty. Because everybody on Chris and Katie's side don't like her. They want her shut down, shut up, everything they can do, possibly. And then we're over here on Seth's side. I saw everything completely different. But that's because I have a bad opinion of the Proudfoots and Bowersocks. So, Yeah, TJ. That's what they say. Yeah. Exactly. Lady R. Yes. He was carried out. It is so obvious. I mean, a child doesn't disappear. He wasn't seen. It was very, very, very dark out there. The camera that was behind their house did not have night vision, or they would have been able to see who it was. It just caught the flashlights. And then the other house over to the side, across from the car, caught all of it, but there's no night vision with it. Yeah, Holly, it's hard to listen to someone that is trying to convince you everything you've been saying, everything you believe is wrong. And that's what they'll do. But to be fair, I really think we would probably be the same way. Because I personally do not understand how, after seeing the flashlights, after hearing Katie and Chris's story change and evolve over time, after knowing Katie was in that house when that boy left, after knowing that they called in a runaway child, not a missing child report was not done. It was a runaway child. Well, they're not going to search inside. They're out there looking for the child who's ran off. Katie and Chris if they had nothing to do with it, they could not say 100% that he ran away. It's not like him to do that. They've already said that he's not a runner. Exactly, James. That's what I was saying a while ago. Yeah, too many red flags for the Proudfoots, in my opinion. But in their opinion, Seth is the one with all the red flags. And that's what she said. First time she met Seth, he was all about money. He wasn't in it to look for his son. He was all about money. The second time she met him, she said it was the same. This is the man that we've all seen cry. Tears. Real tears. Not sit there, make it as if you're crying, and not a tear fall from your eye. Like Katie was. Seth gets emotional. Seth begs for somebody to come and find his child to help. He has. Yes, he has been married 4 times. Katie is the 5th. Yeah, that's how it is. And then he winks at the court TV reporter. That wouldn't make sense. What are you doing, little girl? Are you up here? Silly. I'll be off in just a little bit, okay? Love you. Oh, goodness. I have heard that, James. And I've heard that from several people that were in court there that day. And Mr. E, I tell you what, if y'all don't listen to Mr. and Miss E, you really should. Mr. E is very factual. He is give credit to where credit's due kind of person, whether it's the other side or whichever way. He's very upfront in the way that he supports Seth. He believes Seth. He believes there's foul play in the house. But if Katie and Chris does something that deserves recognition, he'll be the first one to say it. And Cheryl. Okay, that's funny, y'all. Cheryl said he needs to throw her under the bus and work on number 6. Oh gosh, that one made me laugh. Sorry. I wonder if there's a train station in Tennessee. So, yeah, there's some people need to go to the train station, take a ride. I really think, and this is my opinion, I think they both got themselves involved in whatever happened with Sebastian. They're together. I don't think they're happily together. I don't think that it's a perfect marriage there. I mean, stop and think about it. When he was talking to Terry Lynn, he was laying in bed. Katie was in the guest room. Or if she was a grieving mother, she would have been like me and sleep in my child's bed. So, yeah, I think it's not a good situation for them. And, the saddest part of all is it's not going to get better. It's not going to. And I don't know if Mr. Chris really honestly believes that he has been crystal clear enough that everybody understands exactly what's going on. And I mean, he's told us. And maybe these are the kind of people that believe their lies. Because that does exist. There are those people. But I don't know. Yes, Kimmy K, when he was not home, the first part of February there, he was on a dating website, yes. I've seen it myself with my own 2 eyes. And it was a new profile. It wasn't one from before. And it was current. But, it's easy for us to sit here. It's easy for us to talk about them. Now, the home life, yes, I think is important for us to understand. If we're going to try to help figure things out, if we're here to help try to understand what could have led up to Sebastian running away, then yeah, that home life is going to be a huge part of that. But now, Chris's ex-wives, the first couple of them, I don't think is very important in this. I think Nina's the only one that's important. So whatever happened before her, I don't think is any of our business. Katie's mother and her childhood and all the things. I don't think that's important to us. I don't think it's none of our business. And that's the thing. People want to keep digging, and they're going to take anything and everything they can. So that's where things start getting ugly, I think. Yes, I think she is stuck. Yeah, and I do think that they both have something on each other kind of thing, and they're both going to stay right there together so they can watch the other one and keep a very close eye on each other. That's what I'm afraid of. But I don't know. Hopefully. Yeah, that's why I say go back as far as like Katie Nina, because that does pertain to what could have happened with Sebastian. I think that plays a huge part in all of this. There's just things that I just don't, and like I say, it's my opinion, but I'm not going to go way back in time, 10, 15 years ago. I'm not going to do that. As far as whatever happened when they lived in their apartment in San Diego, Katie and Seth, I mean, there's too much time in between there that I don't know that it connects to what happened to Sebastian. And so I'm not going to bring up a lot of that. Now, if there's something that comes up that there is a connection somehow, some way in there, yeah, we're going to talk about it. And they want to sit there and say, he was getting phone calls from people telling him what, Betty was doing or whatever, just like Tony said, or Seth. That was his people doing it. None of us were calling him. We weren't saying, hey, did you hear what Betty said about you today? No. Hey, Charles. Everybody else that's come in since I've been rattling. Thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate y'all so much. But yeah, the question set up was just really kind of wonky. I think it was very one-sided. And for Chris to say, yeah, I'm getting those calls every day. But they weren't from Bullhorn Betty. They weren't from anyone other than his people. But I don't know. I'm so tired of the drama that continuously happens in these last two cases, in Summer's case and Sebastian's case. It's unreal, it's disgusting, and it's downright embarrassing to be a part of it. But yet you have these entitled channels that feel like, they know how everything should be ran. They know how everything should be done and said. And they're going to talk about everybody that doesn't do it right. It's not the way to go about it. If you think somebody's doing something wrong, send them an email. Talk to them. Don't go on somebody's panel and start talking about them. Don't pull up a live and start talking about somebody else, because that just stirs the pot. But that's just my opinion, guys. I'm not doing it. listening to Brittany last night, I was like, I kept trying to tell her, just, they're going to keep talking about you as long as you keep responding. Just stop. And I think when she realizes she needs to stop, we're not here for that drama. I'm not in her channel for drama. I left. I want no part of that. But I like our channel. I like everything. Everybody here. There's comments in chat that, want to talk about Seth. Okay, show me something. Yes. Exactly, James. They should have played Web Sleuthen's video and how he talked to Seth, like Seth was a little kid, and they should play another part of it where he said if Seth doesn't learn to shut his mouth, then he'll have it shut permanently or something like that soon. And it's just like, oh my gosh, those are threats. Even Clue, when she found out she got to see, the C&D or they were fixing to go out, supposedly a bunch of them going out or whatever. And she said that she hopes everything Seth has said was nothing but a lie and it comes out so she can be the one to say, I told you so. She's like, I'm going to do everything I can, and I have been, to prove that. And that has nothing to do with finding Sebastian, guys. Nothing. And when she was on Justin's channel yesterday, she made the comment that her and fiance have been searching, and Crabtree's been out there searching. They haven't got any threats or anything happen to them, and they're out there a lot. Well, no, your people aren't going to do that to you. She kind of proved a point, I thought. So, anyways, I don't know, guys. It's just, why are we talking about a whole live here about court? Because this is what the Proudfoots wanted. This is what the Bowersocks wanted. When you have people coming in and they're the ones telling the people that are searching now, be careful because you could go to jail for doing stuff out here. No, not at all. But, we're here because of Sebastian. I don't give a flip about Katie or Chris. I don't care about his mommy. If he wants to stay on her tit, so be it. That's his deal. I want Sebastian found. That's what I want. I want to keep talking about Sebastian. I want to keep talking about how's it possible that this kid could have ran away. And if people want to talk about Seth to me, okay, show me. I will gladly talk about it. If you can show me something. But every time I put that out there, I never get anything. James said, my gut feeling is Sebastian is nowhere near Hendersonville, but that doesn't mean don't search. Yeah, Rhonda, who doesn't want their child found? I don't get it. Even Susan Smith, who left her 2 babies in the back of her car strapped in their car seat and let her car roll off into the lake and go underwater. She said she could hear her baby screaming. And then they stopped. That woman was still talking to news stations, doing interviews. She was guilty as sin. You could tell. You could tell it all over the place because the fake crying. But there ain't not one tear. Just like Katie. But Katie doesn't. She's done 2 news interviews. She did Nancy Grace. And she did On Patrol Live. 4. 2 local, 2 syndicated. Now, if you're a child, you're going to sit here and tell everybody he ran away. So if your child ran away, wouldn't you think that he would be somewhere, because he wouldn't have got very far on foot, right? He would be within a radius area. Wouldn't you want to be on your news station, on TV, talking about him, telling everybody about him? Please, please look around your yard. Please, please get out there. You know, when you're driving, look, just pay more attention. I have to have him home. I can't live without my child. Not happening. What would you do different about that Sunday? Katie and Chris both stuttered their way through the answer. And both of them made the comment, I don't know. Really? If somebody was to ask me, what would I do different about that Monday, February the 10th of 2020? There would not be a minute pass without me, not even a second. When my baby boy gave me his last hug, I'd have never let go of him. I would have took his car keys away from him. I would have told him it's going to storm bad storm coming tonight. Y'all are just staying here. We'll cook dinner here. Not even a second thought as to what I would do. Not a second thought. I would have done everything in my power to make sure my child stayed home with me where he was safe. You know, losing my son was a horrific event for me. And when I say horrific, I mean for 2 years. I didn't care if I woke up the next morning. Not at all. Wouldn't have bothered me if I didn't. Days I woke up and I was disappointed because I woke up. I practically stayed in bed for 2 years. But my biggest regret, and the thing that hurt my heart the most, was that I've been there for every little tiny flu, strep throat, runny noses, sinuses, heartache from a girlfriend hurting his heart. All of those things. I was there. And the one time my child needed me the very most, I couldn't be there. And that's been one of the hardest things for me to overcome, because a mother, I should have been there. I should have been holding his hand. I should have told him I loved him. All those things. But Sebastian's mother just don't know what to say. Sorry, guys, I tear up about that every time. That is one of the biggest, hardest hurdles I have to get over. But Sebastian's mother, she don't know. Sit in front of his room, giggle. No, there's no giggling. And when they both said, I don't know. It's uncalled for. He's your responsibility. You as his mother. Your children are your responsibility. And although my son was 27, about to get married, I still feel like I should have been there holding his hand. He was trapped in the car. But don't think I wouldn't have climbed through that other side of that window. I would have. Yes, James, all of the questions, they know. They didn't have a script for what would you change that day. Those last minutes, hours that you had. Oh, thank you, Christine. Sorry, I don't mean to do this, but that's how my heart hurts still. It's been 4 years and it still hurts. Katie's only lasted for a couple of months. And then she starts calling on clues and laughing and giggling and cutting up. And she hasn't done another interview since May. She's going to file a protective order against a woman she's never met, never saw, except for on YouTube. And stop someone with a huge following. Huge following. Nah, let's take her out of the equation. And that's what they really want to do for all of us, I think. I don't think they want him found. If he is found, the truth will come out. So, anyways, guys, my door's cracked open and a little girl sitting on the steps waiting for me. So I am going to tell y'all how much I love y'all and how much I appreciate y'all. I apologize again for the tears. It's not what I meant to do, but yeah, they're going to be researching this case for a long time. Day 7. That's what he's going to say. Day 7. The boy was a ninja. He wanted to be a ninja. He became a ninja. Oh. It's very sad. Very, very sad. But I want his father to have that rejoicing moment or that closure. I want him to have the knowing, the knowledge where his child is. I want to do this for Seth. Had Katie and Chris done everything they could to search, had they gone out of their way to talk to everybody and, do like what a grieving parent really should, I would want it for them too. But that's not what we see from them. And that's why my thought, my heart, my mindset is to help Seth. Oh, thank y'all. Y'all are so sweet. Yes, his father needs his son back. Yeah. Their actions do say it all. Oh my gosh, it is unreal. And I really honestly think that they believe themselves. They believe this new delusion that they have created. And I honestly think that they believe this is the truth. This is what they have decided. They've said it 100 times. They're convincing themselves more and more every time they say it. And, I feel bad for them. Because the day will come when a new reality is going to hit. And it's going to be hard. Another Don and Candace. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to, I'm going to work on a live and we'll talk about Summer some more because I don't want to forget her. I don't. So we'll keep talking about her too. But I do thank everybody that is in here, everybody listening. Thank y'all for being here. It means a lot to me. It touches my heart. I do appreciate y'all. Everybody in chat, thank y'all so much. I love that I don't have to pay attention to chat because we don't have all the trolls over here. And that's why I'm okay with my channel not being massive, huge. I just want it big enough to make a difference. That's what I want. And so we will keep on. Say his name. Put his flyer out there. If you mail something, put a flyer in there. If they throw it away, okay, but they've looked at it and probably read it. So maybe that'll be enough. But anyways, keep Seth in your prayers. This is a journey that no parent should ever have to be going through. But he is. And continue to pray for Smiley as she is having to say goodbye to her mother and take care of stuff there. That's a hard thing to do. So we love our Smiley. And I love you guys so much. I will probably come on again tomorrow. And we'll do something again tomorrow. But until then, love and hugs, everybody. Bye.